Hello, everyone. How are you? It's Monday. That's right. And of course, Monday is, well, for me, sometimes Monday is, of course, it's a day, first day back to work. And for me, it is supposed to be a day of rest, but with my grandkids, it's not, no day is a day of rest, except I can escape them and locked up in my room. But anyway, I'm just happy to be alive on a Monday, and I hope you're having a happy, progressive, and productive Monday. So listen, I'm excited about, of course, my new YouTube channel, and go there and subscribe. There's some great things coming. In fact, my daughters and we did a video together, and we have part 2 coming, and that'll be coming next week. But I'm just excited about an opportunity to share. Not only excited, but I feel compelled to share with you some of my thoughts and feelings, and hopefully, it could evoke some thoughts and feelings in you. And, as a believer, one thing I have found is that I am human, and I am prone to lean to my my own understanding, as well as my emotions. And I tell people, and as a coach and counselor, I tell people to try to manage your emotions, because it can take us some places that we don't need to go, especially as believers. So one of the things that I have become quite emotional about, and lots of thoughts about, was the president, President Trump. And to be honest, years ago I used to admire President Trump because I went to a seminar, and he had lost a lot in business, and he always had the courage, seemingly, to get back up, start again. And so I was somewhat impressed with that. And of course, I went to Vegas, and I saw, the buildings and all. But I was talking to a guy in the taxi about it and saying, "Oh, look, the new." He was like, "What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about." And he files bankruptcy, does it. He went crazy on me, and I'm like, "Oh my God, let me," y'all, people know me. I'm always talking to anybody, strangers, and having these conversations. But sometimes they are quite informative, or they cause me to go and research what I'm saying. And so, but pretty much, so as the president, after I heard a lot of the rhetoric and the bigotry, the statements of that we now know is straight up racism, and also just politics, trying to win over his crowd. The first session of 4 years, I was quite concerned as some of the disrespect and the vulgar, if you will. I just kids watching TV, and no concern about that. Just a whole bunch of stuff, things that just don't align with my Christian beliefs. And not that others have, but honest to God, I've never heard anyone say the things that he says, and the things that he does, and in the attitude and the spirit behind it. So I was critical, and of course, I'll let my husband speak for himself, but he was critical. What bothered me, though, and I became emotional about, because I used to pray with a group of them, was he and his behavior, if you will, and then the evangelicals with this full-blown support, no matter what he said or did. Some of them which I know, some of them which I'm friends with, some of them which I have acquaintances with. And I was saying, wait. So I prayed this prayer to get to the point. Lord, because I know I can be emotional, I know others can. We're both Christians, we're all Christians, not both. Somebody's right and someone's wrong. And I don't want to become super spiritual righteous, that everything he does, because all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. I'm just looking for a certain type of leadership. I'm concerned about the young people thinking this is okay. I always think about the ones coming behind and that we should leave some legacy and some instructions and something for them to follow, right? So that's my big thing, mentorship, legacy. And I'm like, I heard a young man say the other day, I never heard a president curse and say things. I said, son, I haven't heard it either. And I feel bad that y'all have to hear this. This is not typical and it's not normal. And he said, and I'm really shocked, like, and he's 20 something. So, this radical, rough behavior, and of course, it goes on and on and on. You've seen it, I don't have to go through it, it's in the news. But I prayed, I said, God, please show me, because I want to correct my heart if I'm wrong. Even if I don't care for a person, I don't want to say, call them wrong and non-Christian and whatever. And I prayed. And so I came across this video, and I'll try to play some of it for you.
You, along with Pat Robertson, are one of the very few white evangelicals to criticize the president for this at a time when there's obviously great unhappiness, anxiety, and grief in the country. Why do you think that is?
I think first it points to the moral collapse in my own religious community. Among my fellows, there was a Faustian deal made with Donald Trump, which went something like this. Donald Trump promised, I will give you everything you've ever wanted on your laundry list of political deliverables if you give me what I want and demand, and that is religious cover. I need you to say that I'm blessed of God and that everything I've done is good. He defended the photo in front of St. John's Church with the Bible by saying a lot of Christians think it's a great photo. And that's what he needs in the deal. And we made that deal with him.
We keep hearing, particularly from political figures, that privately the conversations are different. I don't know how much credence to give to that, because the fact of the matter is, if you are a public figure, your public utterances are your record. But I do wonder what kinds of conversations that you have with fellow evangelicals, because quite in public, the support is as strong as ever. I mean, Ralph Reed, who's kind of taken over the mantle of the moral majority, as it were, the sort of the politically most active evangelicals, particularly white evangelicals, social conservatives, very strongly defending it. I was just sort of curious about that. Their support has been as strong publicly as ever. Are the conversations privately different?
Well, a year, 2 years ago, I used to hear my colleagues, they would whisper, I know the guy's way over the top. I know he's terribly offensive. I know he's way too visceral. He's too impulsive. He doesn't know us. He's not religious. Look, we know who he is. He's a secularist. He's not a believer. But he's good for us. And who else is going to get this done? And it's going to take a fighter like him to get it done. Now I don't hear that much anymore.
Some people would say you're the wrong one. I mean, you're the outlier. You're the one who's getting it wrong. And in fact, some people might argue that your point of view is dangerous, that you're imperiling people's souls. And I just wondered how you have reconciled yourself to this, over the years. What convinces you and affirms you in your view that your path here is the path that really others should be taking? Humbly, I would say. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been anything but easy, including internally. It's been a very difficult journey for me, but it started by facing myself. And that was a terrifying thing to do, to listen to my own words and to watch their effect on other people, on the other person, instead of constantly listening so that I would feel better about myself. I started listening to hear the effect of my words on others. That was part of that process of change. But I'm not alone. But the political and social culture that Donald Trump represents and fosters is so dangerous, particularly to Christians. And I go back to, again, what is our message? What are we trying to proclaim and live out? And if I look at the model of Jesus, and if evangelicalism is anything, it's Jesus-centered. So for me, this is all about returning to my original faith, not renouncing my faith.
I am going to say thank you, Pastor Shank. So I'm saying to you, in my city, New Orleans, in my state, Louisiana, it's early voting. Will we allow this type of leadership to go on another 4 years? Or will we get out and vote and express our feelings, because we have a right, black, brown, white, green, whatever color you are. What if you came to this country or you were born in this country? Um, we have a right as legal citizens, as tax-paying citizens, to vote our choice. And I pray that we understand that this is disaster. But I'm grateful to God for not only whites who are protesting, saying Black Lives Matter. They told me in my house that my life mattered. Thank God, because when I got outside of my house, they said I did matter, but I didn't believe them, because someone who loved me in my home told me that I mattered. I'm so glad to see whites standing up saying we matter. And somebody said, well, all lives matter. Well, y'all always mattered. Y'all didn't get treated like us. So that's why that's not the issue. But Black lives, people who built this country, who helped to build it, you built it on our backs, sometimes with whips. So we need to matter, and we need to matter a lot. But not only that, I love everyone. And you have a right to say this is not the way we want our country to go, to align yourselves with yourself, or us, the United States, with folk, our enemies. Who ever heard of that? Russia and all. You can see straight through it, but sometimes money makes the deal. But I'm sorry, I have never, and I will never go down for filthy lucre. I will never let money rule me, but my heart and my morals, what I stand for. So I will leave something behind for my children. So I wanted to say today, go and vote. Louisiana, if you're listening, July the 4th is the last day for the primary election. Go and cast your vote. Let's fight against voter suppression. Okay, let's fight against anything that tries to stop us from our legal and moral rights. Wear a mask so you can protect yourself and others. Care about somebody. Stay 6 feet away. I love you. If you're listening, friends, and if you're just meeting me, I'm Debra Morton, and I'm speaking. Debra Morton Speaks is my new channel. Subscribe. I have some good stuff coming and some good guests that are going to be with me. It's Monday. I'm tired, but I need to say this. Okay, so have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye.